Yo, what's up guys, Lord Senno here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about move stacking in Deepwoken. Move stacking is an important mechanic, and it was even more important in the previous updates when it was much easier to do it. Move stacking basically means when you use an M1 and then a mantra, and so your M1 and your mantra animations, they sort of align so that your mantra comes out really quickly. If your opponent cannot parry the first M1, then the mantra will hit them. In my opinion, this is a silly mechanic, and a lot of the testers and the developers agreed, which is why they removed it from being easily accessible. Now when you try to do an M1 and then a mantra, it will cancel the M1 and play the mantra animation. This is similar to feinting and then casting a mantra instantly afterwards. But the thing that makes this replacement to move stacking considerably weaker is the fact that your M1 will be cancelled, meaning that your opponent has time to react to the mantra. Now, I'm sure you've all watched Agamatsu's video. One of the ways that you can move stack, which is probably the easiest way he showed, and you simply do a running attack like I just did, and cast a mantra at the same time. That method is the easiest way to move stack, but it has a considerable weakness, which is that you cannot feint the running attack, so that your enemy knows whenever you do a running attack, if they parry that hit, then the move stack is guaranteed to be parried. This method that I'm about to show you is the hardest way to move stack, and it's really, really difficult. I can't really replicate it too much, but if I try to, then sometimes it will happen in the middle of a fight. Pay close attention to this fight, and see if you can locate when I do the move stack tech, and try and guess how I did it. Hold on, did you guys see that? That is another way that you can move stack. Let's play that clip back in slow motion, so you can see what happened, and try and guess what the technique that I did was, and how I managed to do it. So as you can see, I dodge my enemy's M1, and my character does a spinning attack right into a move stack strong left. This spinning attack is actually no bug, it's a feature that's in the game, and it's a rare talent called Spine Cutter. Spine Cutter requires 20 something strength and 20 something agility, I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, and like I said, it's a rare talent, and basically what it does is after you roll cancel, if you hit someone behind their back, then you will do 2 slashes at them instead of 1. Now, how this relates to move stacking is that spinning attack that I showed you earlier, which is the second swing of Spine Cutter, it will not be cancelled no matter what you do. This means that if you cue a mantra after the first M1, you can move stack with Spine Cutter. This timing is really hard to get down, and even I haven't mastered it perfectly, and there's also the consideration that Spine Cutter is really weird in how it activates. Sometimes it doesn't activate when you expect it to, so you may accidentally try to move stack when you shouldn't. But the reward on landing this move stack is incredible, because your opponent is locked in place from the second hit of Spine Cutter. It's basically guaranteed to hit them, and this means that the move stack, your mantra, is also guaranteed to hit. From this combo, you've taken 2 M1s worth of damage, and then a strong left to your face. That's like RIP 2.5 bars. In this clip, I'm going to show you the third move stack variant. This one's a little weird, as you can see I did it right there. Slowing it down, I want to show you exactly what happened before I landed the move stack. As you can see, I hit him 2 times, and on the third one, I weave out of his attack, and then do a move stack strong left. The great part, in my opinion, about move stacking strong left is that your opponent rarely sees it coming, so if you charge at them with a running attack, you can normally hit them again for free. Now, if they know the move stack's coming, then they can ragdoll cancel out of the strong left knockback, but you're normally the one who has the initiative and are expecting it to happen. As for how you actually do this move stack, essentially you need to hit your opponent 2 times, and then on the third hit, you will flourish your opponent obviously, and queue up the mantra. The timing needs to be precise here. You need to queue up the mantra right before your attack is about to hit your enemy. And essentially what's happening here is that while your opponent is being flourished, they cannot react or do anything, and your mantra animation is playing at the same time, so you kind of just hit them for free. Now there's a big caveat with this strategy, which is that it doesn't work with certain mantras. For example, Thundercall doesn't work with Grand Javelin. Most of the mantras in the game do not support this move stack type. You're gonna have to do some experimenting, probably with some friends, and see what works, but for me the easiest one is just strong left. If you didn't play Deepwoken before the update, move stacking was completely different and it was much easier to do. It benefited magics with lots of low wind-up moves such as Frost Draw and Gale Breath the most. And it was really a low skill strategy, it didn't require much effort, and it would trip up even the best of players who would dodge out of a feint, and then you'd hit them with a move stack and they basically get hit for playing the game the way it's meant to be played. It was a problem that a lot of people were starting to realize, especially as combat got more and more high skill. Combat at the end game was more about rock, paper, scissors versus who's better. With the new movestack changes, which make it so that you feint your M1 into a mantra, these changes are actually really good for the game in my opinion, as I've mentioned before. The reason being is that it appeases both sides of players. It appeases the low skill players because it keeps the fluidity and the fast paced nature of the game together. And it appeases most of the top tier players as it removes a lot of the bullshit cheese that was in the game before, and things are a lot easier to defend now if you know what you're doing. I've got to say that the meta that we're in right now and the direction that we're headed in is really positive. It feels like this is the most balanced state that we've seen Deepwoken in. Obviously there's a lot of like broken stuff and overpowered builds, but the developers are listening to most of the community suggestions in a way that's actually healthy for the game, and I'm grateful for that. We all should be. A lot of people do like to give me criticism that I speak too much about balance and what I think should get nerfed and what I think should get buffed, and I think that's a good thing, honestly. Most of my opinions do align with the general community, and when they don't, I take that into consideration. Ragusa and Archmage understand that they need to tread a fine line between, keeping the balance of the game and appeasing the masses, and that's sort of what they did with the Movestack update. They were able to compromise with the players who wanted the game to be more fast-paced and fluid, without reverting the system back to the old Movestack system which caused so many problems, such as the rock, paper, scissors gameplay. Now, you may be wondering, what's my opinion on these 3 Movestack techniques that I just shared to you? And I'll be completely honest with you, my verdict is that they're just fine. The most rewarding Movestack, the Spine Cutter one, is the hardest one to hit and requires a rare talent on top of it. It also requires you to consume your dodge cooldown. The easiest one to do, which is the running attack, has an obvious weakness, which is that the running M1 can be parried. The Flourish Movestack also requires pretty precise timing, and it doesn't work on every single mantra. So, unlike the old Movestacks, which was no risk, high reward, these are high risk, high reward, which is how this mechanic should exist in the game. If you're unaware, last video I did a giveaway where I was giving away 1,000 Robux to a person in the comments. I've decided to give away this prize to Merrily Parks, who is probably the most active subscriber or commenter on my channel. I thank you personally, and I thank each and every one of you as a collective for helping me reach my goals. February has been a great month for me, and if it keeps up at this pace, then I could consider doing YouTube as more than just a hobby. Things are really looking up, and I hope that you guys know that I appreciate you for that. Keep your eyes out for more videos and giveaways. I'm really looking forward to what the future has to hold for us. Thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.